Okay, so we're going to look at area today for the next piece of the assignment. And area is the measurement of the size of of a surface. So you can think of a surface as maybe the top of a table, right? So if you looked at the top of the table and you wanted to find out how much of the measurement is all this area here, this two-dimensional area. So one dimension is moving this way and the other dimension is moving this way. That is what we're finding, all this space here, how much length this takes in both up and sideways, two dimensions. That's what we call area. And if you look at this, we have different types of measurements. So we have 1 square millimeter, okay? We have 1 square centimeter. We have a square meter. We have this new idea called a hectare, which is used for farm fields and land. And then we have 1 square kilometer, okay? So if I looked at a square centimeter as this example here, you see that one side is 1 centimeter and another side is 1 centimeter. So this displays 1 square centimeter, all right? Now, if you look at this, the one beside it, we have 10 little squares, which are each a millimeter of length. So we have 10 millimeters this way, left to right, and we have 10 millimeters up and down. So if you count all the different millimeters we have in this little square here, we should have 100 of them. So what that tells us is we have 100 millimeters squared because it's surface area. All these little squares together is 100 millimeters but squared. So with area, we cannot forget the little square symbol whenever we're doing area. All right, so don't forget that. Now last week we did length conversions and we figured out that 1 kilometer is 10,000 meters, 1 meter gives us 100 centimeters, and 1 centimeter gives us 10 millimeters. So in these examples you can see that I wrote a 1 square meter, which is a 1 by 1 square. So we drew a square like we have done above. We have a square that is 1 by 1. So this would be like 1 meter and 1 meter. And so you can ask yourself, how big is 1 meter? Well, measure or look at the end of your fingertips with your arms stretched out. And from the end of your fingertips till maybe the middle of your face, that could be maybe around a meter, depending on how long your arms are. So if you wanted a square meter, you put out one arm side of you and then one arm in front of you. And if you make a box out of that, that's about a square meter of area, okay? If we look at this new conversion, which is called a hectare, this is a square which is 100 meters by 100 meters in length. So it's as if one side is 100 meters here, and the other side is 100 meters here, okay? And if we take those to find the area of this, we take 100 meters by 100 meters, and when you multiply that, you get 10,000 square meters inside here. And what we have is 1 hectare is equal or equivalent to 10,000 square meters. So just imagine 10,000 meters. It's quite a far distance. So 1 hectare is quite a lot of space outside, okay? Finally, we have 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, which imagine you're going to walk 1 kilometer. Maybe it's from the school to the train station. Okay, so that's one way. So imagine you start here on the school to the train station, and then from the train station you walked up all the way the hill, and maybe you went to Flon, if you know where Flon is. So this space here, this could be 1 square kilometer. Now, if that's the case, 1 kilometer is the same thing as 1,000 meters, so we can change both these 1 kilometers into 1,000 meters each. Of course, if you multiply that, you get a huge number, which is 1 million, and a meter in meter gives us square meters, right? Remember, area is always a square unit. Now, what I figured out is that if you separate 100 by 10,000, you will get the equivalent amount of 1 million. But if you look from the earlier section, 10,000 square meters, isn't that the same thing as 1 hectare? So if I have 100 10,000 square pieces, it's like I say I have 100 1 hectare piece. So this is like the same as 1 hectare. And because of that, 100 of them is, well, 100 hectares. So this is just changing square kilometers to meters to hectares. All right, so that allows us to go from hectares to meters. That's what we have to understand for that, okay? So last week when we were doing length conversions, we figured out that every time you move over from meters to centimeters, you multiply by 100, or centimeters to millimeters, you multiply by 10. And every time you go this way in the unit conversion, you have to divide depending on where you are, okay? So now what we want to do is figure out how to convert area, units. So if I pull up the area conversion, we're going to see how we do that here. If I take my chart, which is located in the book on page 223, you'll get a chart that looks kind of like this. Here we are, okay? So you're going to have to use this chart to convert your units. So let's take a look at the first one. We have 2.2 hectares into meters squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to square off hectares because that's where I'm going to start. And I have 2.2 of those. So 2.2. And I want to go to meters squared. So what do I need to do? I have to jump over by 1 to change it to meters squared. So when I jump over, I have to take my 2.2 and times that by 1,000. Or pardon me, 10,000. 10,000. And what that's going to give me is 22,000 square meters. So that's how I convert hectares to meters, okay? You just need to use this chart here. Now, if I do the second example, we want to change millimeters squared. So let me put a box around millimeters here so we know where we are. And we have 540 of those. And I want to jump to centimeters squared. So in order to do that, I have to jump back by 1. And it says, according to this, if I jump back by 1, I have to divide by 100. So I'm going to take 540, which I have here, and I'm going to divide by 100 in this case. Divide, here we go. Okay, so 540 divided by 100. And when you do that, you will get 5.4 centimeters squared. Okay, so the assignment for today involves doing some conversions, and you have to use this conversion chart to do them correctly. Okay, so if we look at your École Direct assignment, you were supposed to send pictures of section 11A, 11B, 11C, and I haven't seen that work. So if you read on Shobi, I've created a folder called Online Classwork, and there's 2 dates. There's Wednesday's date, which I expected to see this homework, but I haven't seen anyone handed it in. So I would like you to please label your homework with the exercise and with the questions so I can clearly see what you've done and what you haven't done. So if you need to, please highlight the title with a fluorescent marker and highlight the questions, okay? And then from there, so 11A was length, 11B was perimeter, 11C was circumference. If you haven't done this, I made a video the other day, and you were supposed to watch this, on how to solve and figure out perimeter and circumference. So go back, I'll post the video up again so you can watch this, okay? So you have that work to do. On top of that, I've assigned the new work on today's video, which you're watching now, on 11D, which is conversion. So I expect people to put their work in today's file. So if you look into Shobi and you go to grade 10 work, here's online class. Here's today's date for the 11D work. And I see here, please put your work into here. I made a different folder, but I do not want it in the other folder. I will delete this folder. I asked people to put it in the measurement folder, but I'm going to take it off there. Okay, so please go and put it in the dates so I know what dates you've been doing what work. And please comment on your work here and tell me where exactly or what you haven't been doing. So Iletra, for you, you can write, "Sir, I have finished everything." And then I will be wowed and I think, okay, great, she has done everything. And then I will see pictures of her work. So please comment on your section and tell me what you have finished. Or write me if you're having trouble, because I can open up Teams and we can talk and ask each other questions. All right? So please do that for me now.